Should you never drink water after eating? This is something you may have heard before, but do you know why? Well, we recon, not take a look at the science of drinking water after eating and whether it really can cause all those negative side effects that people say it can. Let's get into it. I bet if you searched, "Should I drink water after eating" on YouTube, you would see a flood of videos telling you not to drink water after eating. And even if you looked for scientific studies on this topic, you'd probably find a lot of articles with titles like "Why drinking water during or immediately after a meal is dangerous." But are these claims actually true? Well, it depends on what type of meal you ate. First off, let's start with the basic science of digestion. Your digestive system has an incredible ability to mix food with water and break it down so your body can absorb all the nutrients in it. In fact, most of the water in your digestive system comes from the saliva in your mouth, gastric juices in your stomach, and enzymes and bile in your intestines. In other words, your body is designed to handle water mixing with food. So why would drinking some extra water along with the meal be harmful? Well, there are a few situations where drinking a lot of water very quickly during or right after a meal could be problematic. The first one is drinking too much water during or immediately after a meal that causes you to feel uncomfortably full. This happens because when you drink a lot of water rapidly, your stomach expands, which can trigger stretch receptors. These receptors send signals to your brain that your stomach is full, which in turn can suppress your appetite. This is great if you're trying to lose weight or stop overeating, but not so good if you're trying to eat enough food to meet your energy needs. Ultimately, drinking too much water during or after a meal can lead to dehydration if you do want to replenish the lost fluids. So make sure you don't chug too much water at once. Another reason why you shouldn't drink too much water during or after a meal is that it can wash away essential nutrients. When you drink a lot of water during or right after a meal, it can help break down food and speed up digestion. While this can be beneficial for some people, it can also be a problem if you're trying to absorb certain nutrients. For example, if you drink a lot of water during or after a meal containing iron, you may find that your body doesn't absorb as much iron as it would if you had drunk the water. This is because water can bind to iron and prevent it from being absorbed by your body. Other nutrients that can be affected by drinking too much water during or after a meal include calcium, magnesium, and zinc. So keep in mind that drinking a lot of water during or after a meal can affect your body's ability to absorb certain nutrients. The third concern about drinking water after eating is that it can lead to bloating and discomfort. When you eat, your body produces digestive juices to help break down the food. When you drink water during or immediately after a meal, it can cause these juices to become which can slow down the digestive process and lead to bloating and discomfort. Additionally, drinking a lot of water during or right after a meal can cause gas to be released, which can also contribute to bloating and discomfort. The fourth concern is that drinking water after eating can trigger acid reflux. Acid reflux occurs when stomach acid flows back up into the esophagus, causing a burning sensation in the chest. Some people find that drinking water during or immediately after a meal can relax the sphincter muscle, which allows stomach acid to flow back up into the esophagus. This can trigger acid reflux symptoms. Now let's talk about the fifth concern, which is that drinking water after eating can interfere with the absorption of medications. If you take any medications, it is important to talk to your doctor or pharmacist about when to drink water during or after a meal. Drinking too much water during or immediately after a meal can prevent your body from absorbing certain medications effectively. It is best to follow the instructions provided by your doctor or pharmacist to ensure that you're getting the most out of your medication. And the sixth concern is that drinking water after eating can reduce the production of digestive enzymes. Our bodies produce digestive enzymes that help break down food in our stomachs and intestines. When we drink water during or immediately after a meal, it can actually reduce the production of these enzymes, which can lead to indigestion and other digestive problems. This is because when our stomachs are full, they send signals to our bodies that we've had enough to eat and that we do need to produce as many digestive enzymes. So if you want to ensure that you're digesting your food properly, it's important to leave some room in your stomach for air. And do you want to chug a bunch of water during or right after a meal? Finally, the seventh concern is that drinking water after eating can lead to kidney problems. When we drink water, it gets filtered through our kidneys and then expelled from our bodies as urine. When we drink a lot of water during or immediately after a meal, it can put extra strain on our kidneys and lead to problems over time. Additionally, drinking too much water during or right after a meal can dilute the concentration of salts and minerals in our blood, leading to a condition called hyponatremia. Hyponatremia can cause symptoms such as headaches, confusion, and seizures. And in severe cases, it can even be life-threatening. Okay, so now that we've discussed all the potential downsides of drinking water during or immediately after a meal, let's shift gears and talk about the benefits. Staying hydrated is essential for good health, and drinking water during or immediately after a meal can help you do just that. When you eat, your body uses water to digest and break down the food you're consuming. By drinking water during or right after a meal, you're helping your body carry out this process efficiently. In fact, drinking water during or immediately after a meal can help prevent constipation by keeping things moving smoothly through your digestive system. Plus, drinking water during or immediately after a meal can help prevent kidney stones. Kidney stones form when certain substances in the urine become concentrated. So, drinking plenty of water during or right after a meal can help keep your kidneys functioning properly and prevent stone formation. Drinking water during or immediately after a meal can also help control blood sugar levels. When you eat, your body releases insulin to help regulate your blood sugar levels. Drinking water during or right after a meal can help your body release the right amount of insulin, which is important for preventing problems like obesity and type 2 diabetes. But what about the claims that drinking water during or immediately after a meal can cause vitamin deficiencies? Well, the truth is that drinking water during or immediately after a meal can cause vitamin deficiencies if you are generally healthy and eating a balanced diet. However, if you already have a vitamin deficiency, drinking a lot of water during or right after a meal could potentially make the deficiency worse by diluting the small amount of vitamins and minerals in your body. So if you know you have a vitamin deficiency, it's important to speak with your healthcare provider before chugging a bunch of water during or after a meal. Overall, the research is pretty clear. Drinking a moderate amount of water during or immediately after a meal is perfectly safe and can even be beneficial for digestion and overall health. Just make sure you're not drinking too much water too quickly, which can lead to uncomfortable side effects like bloating and dehydration. And always remember to listen to your body. If you feel full, stop drinking and focus on enjoying your meal. Ultimately, whether or not you should drink water during or immediately after a meal is a personal decision. There's no one-size-fits-all answer, but hopefully this video has given you the information you need to make the best choice for you. So next time you sit down to a meal, ask yourself, do I really need to chug a glass of water beforehand? And decide whether it is really necessary, or if it is just a habit you've picked up that doesn't actually benefit you. Thanks for watching. See you next time.